Hey guys, Bolt here, and I'm gonna quickly make this a. Be quiet, I told you not to speak. Um, a quick video. A lot of these Tuesdays and Thursdays are probably gonna be, well, this week is gonna be quick, so, because Budokai Tenkaichi 3 over on Bolt, I only did like a 30-minute video for one part of What If. I have one more, and then I'm done with the game. Um, and then so today we're talking about kind of the state of finance at Freddy's. Um, there we go. And then like Thursday we'll talk kind of about like I've been really getting back into Walking Dead again, and really like looking back on it, it's like man, and what they're doing now, it's kind of like I'm trying to like it. Uh, anyways, we're talking about State of Fnaf. Nothing good. I'm gonna say. Um, let's just quickly knock out like the mysteries. So like in terms of like classic Finance of Freddy's, really the only thing a lot of people want to see are the like what is Junior's supposed to be the original Freddy Fazbear's? If not, what it was it like? We know that this is like the original location for when the hauntings took place, but of course, this is also when like when MCI happened. You're probably gonna shut down very quickly right after it. Um, and then a lot of people want to see more of Fredbear's. People want to kind of learn the order of things in terms of like who died. I think when Sister Location happened is another big thing. That and Circus Babies placement. Um, I know they like keep teasing the Bite of 87. Like that is a big one. I know that everyone was like, "Oh, it's Foxy." I'm like, that was the if that's how it is, that is the dumbest decision. But yet, it also would understand what's happening with the out of order. Um, but the issue with the Bite of 87 is just like, why would you keep the animatronics that have this big bug? Why are they still operational during Final Fantasy 2? And why did one get out and bite a kid when it wasn't even supposed to be operable? And there's no reason for us to continue using those and refurbish them when we have amazing, like, we put a lot of money and we put a lot of like hardware and software into these toys. And like beside like maybe not like stopping the purple guy from doing stuff, like there is no reason to throw those out. Like they're still better, they're still more kid friendly. You put money into it, why would you toss them unless something big happened with them to force them, where an animatronic itself attacked a kid or an employee on like an open, like in the open, when people are like knowing that it was an animatronic. So it's kind of like it has to be a toy. The toys were scrapped by the end of the game. There's got to be a reason for them to be attacked. Well, to be scrapped. And I think the main, like, if you want Foxy to do it, I think you're trying to say the Mangle, which is technically considered Foxy. Um, they never like I know they like called them toy Funtime Foxy in Finance Freddy's World, but it's kind of like they don't call them Toy Chica, Toy Bonnie, Toy Chica. It's Freddy Bonnie Chica. So you're just gonna call him Foxy. Um, so I think it was Mangle. Um, who attacked. Not to mention it's just like the animation, them crawling on ceilings. Um, sorry, I'm really trying to deal with this. Um, and kind of like that's the kind of thing. It's just like little details like that from the original story. And then we have all of the Steel Wool stuff, which is just like, eh. I constantly wish we were in a universe where we would get a reimagining of Security Breach in the Coffin cut. Just because I think that could be done better. Um, that way people can actually see what the original story was supposed to be. Um, they basically just auto like course corrected with ruin ruin and secret of the mimic, and it's like that still doesn't stop it from being confusing. Not to mention it's kind of like what's happened with glitch trap. I know we've had a little bit of some stuff with security breach, but like and like of course help wanted too, he appeared, but it's just like he's like a back on the back burner while there's this actual animatronic mimic. Um, so it's kind of like, is this supposed to be like a William Afton consciousness copied by a mimic program doing the whole thing, or is this like one of the two mimics we know of from Secret of the Mimic, or is this like a third mimic that's programmed by Fazbear? There's just so many questions in the new era that it's ridiculous. And like there's the whole thing with Chica's Party World where it's just like people want that game to exist because it had so many of the original things like the box getting like giving out what was in most of these mysteries. You get understanding more about the shadows, which the shadows are such a weird concept that we just never learn more about. I think we gotta have a better understanding of Shadow Bonnie by the end of the stories, but it's just the original has small details. And like some characters need better things, like the shadows, but like the new stuff is just like all over the place. And then kind of like breaking it down, a lot of the newer stuff we're getting is either books or movies. And I'm going to say this now, I hate that is kind of our main way of digesting Fnaf content anymore because it's all alternate universe stuff. Like, I'm sorry, you're telling me that I need to learn from the movies, but then the movies are telling me the wizards were never operable. They were prototypes. They were never supposed to be. Then you're telling me there was never an original location where the MCI happened. You're telling me that everything originated with the Five Nights at Freddy's 2 pizza location. Um, and then also it's like I you can't really put a personality to Cassie, but one of the dumbest things um that I do not like about Five Nights at Freddy's 2 is just like how disgustingly weird. Not Cassie, not Cassie. Charlie. Emily. It's kind of just like She's like the in the Five Nights at Freddy's game lore. It's kind of like she's this little girl that possesses the puppet. Then she comes out anger of her killer, hunting him down, or anyone who could be. Um, Not to mention she's helping others. She helps like move people on. And then there's just the movie lore one. Every adult dies. Everyone suffers. This child that is trying to escape this whole like debacle. I'm gonna bring them back and try to do something with them. It's like you can't learn anything from the movies just because of how different it is from the games. And then there's like the cringy stuff like We Are Fnaf. You don't use the wizards. Um, you have a weird thing with Mike and Vanessa where like they were dating, then Vanessa tries to speak out and talk when Mike wanted her to. The actors are doing fine, but the script needs to be better. And I'm hoping from what we're hearing is that it sounds like Five Nights at Freddy's 3 is going to be made by, I think it was the It creator um, for the movies. Um, so I'm just hoping that like they bring it back and don't make it so whimsy with like the topics because like all of I prefer Five Nights at Freddy's 2 even though I hate it because it confuses the lore so much. Five Nights at Freddy's 1 just why? Why? Why am I seeing these killer animatronics make a fort? Why? I know they're supposed to be kids, but like they're literally gonna try to massacre the people that are doing that with them like the next day. Yeah, the movies suck. The books confuse things because like there's supposed to be parallels to stories, and you're supposed to pull little details every now and again. It's just all of this stuff is, in the words of King from Digital Circus, it's all convoluted, but it is still nice to see this story. I really like Five Nights at Freddy's. I really want to get into it, but in terms of the lore, I think we just need to stick with what the Secret of the Mimic was doing, where it's literally not spelling it out for you. Aside from like some things, are just like they're talking normal, like you would casually talk about certain topics. So you will have things right on the dot. But of course, like there are some things that you got to read into to understand. I think Secret of the Mimic is almost perfect with how the lore should be explained from now on. Not this whole, oh, in the background, there's this one little thing that ties to this one mystery. Um, if you do like 100 clicks on this one thing, you get this possible mini game. I think it just really like we need to reel it in. We need to use the books to finish up these last little like the original like time. They need to come back and just be like, okay, here's what happened with all those events, explain the shadows, unless the shadows are meant to be like mysteries. Explain a lot of the little things from the original era, and then it's kind of like the games really need to hit on it. And then the movies are just should be fun. Shows should be just fun. Um, that way, it's just like it should explain with those like parallels to explain certain situations, but I shouldn't be like learning the entire lore that is like here's a crumb we know versus the giant gigantic room of lore we don't know when we're supposed to learn and understand. So that's kind of what I'm feeling with Final Freddy's right now. Um, it's basically a little tangent, but it's kind of just like I know it's like we're doing good because like toys are coming out, like a lot of merch and stuff is coming out, which is cool and all, but it's just like we need another it would be cool. It would be so awesome if we got a Finest Freddy's World 2 to kind of do things like Chica's Secret Party World um and then like or Secret Party or whatever it's called. And then we also do oh what was it called? Mega Cat's second game, cuz I know we're like getting a 2 out of 3. So it would be cool to either get that or we can possibly get a um I just like lost my thought. A it's kind of like Into the Pit too, but it's more of like the story games too. Another thing, I know a lot of people don't like the idea of, but I kind of fell in love with it, is the idea that we're getting a sister location to, and just have like Five Nights at Freddy's sister location. Well, it would be like what you did with sister location is it's kind of like it's like hovers over it, Five Nights at Freddy's, but sister location is your title, and it could just be sister location Chica's Party World. That way, it's like we can kind of see some oddities that happened there at the skating rink or something. That would be cool. Or kind of like extend upon the Mimic story with that. Uh, so it's just like that'd be cool to see another sister location, or like the bunkers returned to. Um, like in the aftermath of the original. So it's just like these games, these things, these books, they need to come out and explain stuff. They need to stop being so ambiguous, because it's like people are going to run out of like, people are not going to care eventually. And it's best while everyone has a like hook in them, you explain to them what's happening. But all right, I'm going to see you guys in the next one. Bye bye.